Hey everybody, it's Linda G and I'm here today with Uncle Mel.
Hey, my
How you
husband, every
doing?
time I do this, he comes in the frame. Those are not underwear. Those are his short pants.
Yeah. He took a quick peek and walked away.
I know. It's
So
okay.
thank you for coming on today. This is our Monday special.
Oh, thank you for having me. I love doing this. I look forward to it on Mondays.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, we have a good time. And we got good questions too.
Oh my goodness. I was watching just Trump's disjointed speech. Gary, you don't have to crawl. They can see you. They can see you crawling.
Okay. So funny. All you gotta say is that if he does this to us, timeout, I'll put it on pause. Hold on. In fact, I'm gonna put it on pause 1 second. Someone's at my door.
Got on short pants.
Hi there.
Hi.
We're back, and I just got done saying we have a bunch of questions. And you just had a flash, and I'd love to tell everybody what that flash was.
Remind me again. I'm still laughing about my husband crawling in the frame.
You were saying,
Oh, I know what it was.
okay.
Okay. My flash is, and I said it this morning, and I've said it before, I think, with you, is Trump is going to try to be or pull some shenanigans in the courtroom to try to get the judge to declare a mistrial. And that won't work. That'll bite Trump right squarely in the rear end. The other thing is people were wondering about a mistrial. So if one juror just keeps saying that not guilty, then it's a mistrial. Well, a mistrial does not mean that it goes away.
No, they'll
It
charge
means
again.
another trial very quickly. And in this case, as in most cases, this is my guides telling me this, that with another trial, that he's going to be found guilty and that trial will happen quickly. They will not delay it. I'm not saying it will happen, but my guides say that if there is either or, Trump is going to be found guilty.
Okay.
I watched his speech, and let's talk about unhinged. And
I'd mute him. I can't even.
Well, he took pot shots at Judge, how you say, Agoran and the E. Jean Carroll case, and he broke that gag order. And he talked about, the 175 million and how he had the money and blah, 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 and how I'm leading Joe Biden. They won't let me go campaign, blah, blah, blah. I paid my lawyer to do a job. It was just a bookkeeping error. You paid your lawyer to do a cover-up, which was illegal, and you knew about it. And so
There's some of this stuff he's saying outside that they're going to use against him in the trial.
That's right. Because he just told on himself. I'm like, what is he doing? The other thing is, I've got a funny feeling, and this is what I said as well, that because of the way he thinks he's slick and he's doing this in a roundabout way to make pot shots at the judge, which he did. What I think the judge is going to say is there are going to be no cameras whatsoever allowed in the courthouse. And I psychically see that the judge is going to issue an order that he is not to talk about the case in any way, shape, or form, like publicly, through second or third party, social media, using news outlets, nothing.
I think he already has that, but yeah, he'll re-emphasize it.
Well, they're going to take the cameras out of the courtroom. And I'm thinking they might not allow them within a certain area I'm sorry, take the cameras out of the courthouse and not allow cameras with X amount of distance, because
So he can't make his little speeches?
Linda, it was totally unhinged. It's like he's talking about this, apples, then he goes to oranges, then to bananas, and then it's a sentence string, blah, 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 blah.
Like the hurricane poster that he drew in something, and he just sits there and lies. He lies while breathing.
Oh my God, it just flowed off his lips. Like it just was a rant. I would have liked to have seen the people's expression standing behind him. There's a guy standing behind him, and I don't know who that guy is, but the look on his face, you could tell he just kind of went to.
Was he one of the legal team? Part of the legal team?
I don't know.
Trump pass gas?
I'm sorry.
Did Trump pass gas? That's what the look was.
Well, people are wondering if he was drugged, like when he fell asleep. I don't think anybody gave him drugs, but I probably think, he could be on some medication. Blood pressure pills will make you sleepy. But here's the karma of this. Trump is sitting in a courtroom. He's got absolutely nobody to blab to, absolutely nobody he can try to manipulate. And he has to sit there and keep his mouth shut.
Oh, he hates that.
Oh, and for him, that is so karmic. It's like torture. So
He fell asleep again today.
I know. And here's the other part of that. Look how karmic it is, Sleepy Joe, blah, 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 blah. How about dozing Donald? I'm like,
Oh, I know.
oh yeah. Wait till he falls asleep and starts snoring, and that will happen.
He did a couple of times, very light snoring.
Oh no, this is gonna be like,
Okay. Okay, so Patty says, hi, Linda and Mel, would the Supreme Court ever legitimately be investigated for corruption? And will the religious leaders and wealthy donors that control their votes ever be punished?
I see investigations about some of the shenanigans that some of those justices have done.
Including Kavanaugh. I saw a big investigation on Kavanaugh.
Question is, will they be illegal? And the answer is some of it, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but they're stuck because there was no rules put into place for the Supreme Court, and only for the Supreme Court.
Right. Hey, Linda, congratulations. You got 71,000 subscribers. You go, girl.
Thank you. Yes, of course, I don't talk about it, but thank you, you guys.
And get a copy of her book. It's really good.
Thank you. Oh, listen, somebody wrote me, had bought Tana busted her buns. She even hired a professional that I helped reimburse her to make sure our Kindle version was correct, because people were getting sideways texts. And this lady wrote me and said, I'm really sorry to tell you, but I rebought your book and it was sideways. And I'm like, what? So I tell Tana, and this morning I went on my computer because you can't do it from your phone. You have to do Kindle from a computer. And I bought the book and it was perfect. The text was perfect.
Maybe they downloaded it a little bit.
I don't know, or her Kindle could be not right. I don't know. But anyway, and then the audio version that I've been promising, we had to hire an expert because I guess it's a lot harder than, I don't think Tana will ever do another audio. But apparently this guy did a real good job. So that'll be coming out. I keep promising. I'm so sorry, you guys. We didn't know all the interruptions, but I just wanted to tell you about that. And also I forgot to tell everybody, probably part of the reason my nose was bleeding so hard in the ER the other night was the doctor was cute. So when he walked in, I had to hold my stomach in really quick. And when I pumped my stomach in, the blood squirted out like that. I couldn't be holding it in. I worry about passing gas too, when I do it.
You could say, oh, doctor, that was the nurse.
That was Trump.
There you go. I did a Donald.
There you go. Sorry, I did a Donald.
That's what I'm going to call it from now on when you pass gas. I did a Donald. It's called a DT.
So I do see the Supreme Court being investigated. It's about 2 years down the road. I'm almost feeling Thomas will be gone before this.
He will be. That brings up a question about the whole immunity thing. Some people are saying, well, they might kick it down to the lower courts, which delays the immunity thing even more. But I still see them saying that he's not immune from prosecution.
They have to. They have no choice. It would be so egregious. There's no little, they're looking for a little entrance where they can say, oh, yeah, nope. I've never, my guides, and I believe my guides, and you believe your guides, they've always said, that's why they're taking so long bringing this thing out, is because they know it's going to be awful for Trump.
Oh, he's going to, well, people, I think in this whole New York thing, it's the cover up and the, the whole idea of using that to lie about the outcome of the election, the Stormy Daniels thing. So it's really fraud is what it boils down to.
Yeah.
But, this whole Stormy Daniels thing, this case in New York, I see is going to be a lot bigger than what everybody thought it was going to be.
I picked that up too, yeah, because everybody's thinking, yeah, this is a nothing burger. Nah, he was criminally charged, but this leads us to another question. Someone said, well, they passed the laws to stop Secret Service protection for the president.
To a degree.
Yeah, because I heard no.
Well, here's what I see. If they did that and you get a rogue president like Trump, God forbid, what if somebody kidnapped him, please, but tortured him and he would give away our secrets? So there's got to be some safeguards in place for that. What I do see, though, is like if somebody like Trump would go to jail, then they would put them in a cell or a cubicle away from everybody else with maybe one Secret Service person there and the guards. And so I see legislation being changed. But what I also see is if a president is convicted of high crimes and misdemeanors, then they lose all privileges. They lose their, if they're committed while they were in office, they lose their pension, they lose everything.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
and listen, there won't be a Don Jr. coming in. There'll be crazies trying to get in, but they're not. Look at even what's happened to Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's losing her grip.
oh, I know.
And I'll tell you why she didn't bring Johnson up to be removed is because she doesn't have the votes.
She didn't have enough votes. I talked about this morning on Morning Moments with Mel, which will be the afternoon by the time it's put up. But she doesn't have the vote. She's got these 3 or 4 people. I don't like Johnson, but he knew that he needed to get that aid to Ukraine because if
He had some meeting even with the bigwig in his church who said, you need to take care of Ukraine.
That's right. That's right. The only thing that I think is they should have, I'm pro-Israel, anti-Netanyahu. They should have cut the aid to Israel and sent more
Oh, well,
to.
trust me, it's in Biden's hands now. So if Netanyahu doesn't stop this nonsense, it'll get held.
And Biden will,
Mhm.
without a
He'll
doubt.
hold it up. But they also got money for Palestinians and for Taiwan. It's amazing how America puts up so much money for foreign countries, but that's what keeps us in the loop.
Well, they have to.
I mean,
There-
we've been giving money to Israel forever.
Right. You know, there's a Supreme Court case, and this is going off topic a little bit, there's a state, I forget what it is, that's trying to outlaw homeless people, you know, sleeping or camping out in public places. And I'm thinking, some of this money that we're sending to Israel or, you know, not Ukraine so much, but some of this money or that money that Donald Trump blew from, I'm going to build a wall. Why couldn't we take that and build shelters for the homeless?
Yeah.
Because to make being homeless a crime, in my opinion, is absolutely abominable.
Isn't it? It's terrible.
I mean, we live in
Did
a
you
country.
see Josh Hawley made a remark today on X? Oh, you know, we're giving all this money to Ukraine. In the meantime, Missouri's got nothing. Well, whose fault is that? You vote no on everything.
That's right.
And Missouri gets a good chunk of change from the Democrats towards
right.
their Social Security and stuff. A good set. It's one of the poorest states around. He's got no right, and they're waving a Ukrainian flags. Okay, so they put the Confederate flag in the White House. They took the American flag down and put a Trump flag up. What's the difference here?
Right, exactly. So anyway, I do see legislation coming to keep the Supreme Court from being bought.
Yes, I see. There's definitely, and I don't see lifetime appointments. I don't know when that's going to change.
My guides have already told me as well. We've talked about this, that there will be term limits for Supreme Court justices, and I feel like there should be.
Yeah.
And my guides say yes.
Good, good. I see Roberts having to go, but it's not because of something untoward. I think it's his health.
Yes, but Johnson didn't feel threatened by Marjorie Taylor Greene, and even if she tried to get rid of him, good luck getting the votes. But I think some Dems would vote to keep him in, even though he's right up Trump's rear end. but they don't know what crazy could take his place. I
Oh,
still
I
see
know.
Jeffries as Speaker of the House, though. That
Well,
hasn't,
even Trump doesn't want Johnson replaced right now because it'll look bad on Trump. After
oh,
what they went through with not getting it, they're already a nothing burger.
well, don't you think it's kind of crazy that Johnson talked to Trump about aid to Ukraine, and Trump reluctantly said, okay. But here's the thing that bothers me. Trump is not the president now. He has not been for the
Yeah,
past.
and then he gets pro who came? Well, some president came to visit him at Mar-a-Lago. He does have to try to act like a big shot. He's a nobody.
He's a nothing burger, as you would say.
Yeah.
But he's not the president. Oh, Lindsey Graham was talking about, oh, because of this, Trump, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wait, Trump is not the president. Trump hasn't done anything.
Exactly.
Chaos.
So thank you, lovely Linda and Auntie Mel. President Biden recently released a video saying that he will let the Trump tax cut die out and not renew, and cut taxes for middle class. Do you see this cut for us soon? Taxes this year. Oh, President Biden. I thought she said President Trump. I was going to go, whoa. Do you see this cut for us soon? Next year is what I'm getting. Taxes this year were higher under Trump plan. Yeah, it's going to fade out next year.
I'm picking up next year. Absolutely.
Yeah. Did you have a question that you posted?
Oh, I just got the ones you've got. So go ahead.
Oh, okay. So, hey, will Trump's secret love child with the housekeeper come forward?
Well, what gets me is he said that, when Stormy Daniels, that whole hush money thing happened, oh, I did it to protect Melania. Oh, really? You were worried about Melania? Yeah, right. As you're having an affair with Stormy Daniels, you got a love child over here.
And a girlfriend.
And a girlfriend, and you're worried about protecting.
They say he's more worried about the girlfriend, that other woman that was paid off by Pecker.
Well, she's going to come forward and testify, and that's going to
But
be.
she thought it was love. Ugh.
No, well, oof. But that's going to be another nail in his coffin.
But do you think Melania would actually be hurt? Does she even care? You know how she does. Boys will be boys.
I don't think she cares. I think because she knows she's going to shut her mouth because she knows which palms are getting greased.
Yeah, there you go. But Trump is worried about that woman testifying because it was more of an emotional relationship.
My light bulb just went, well, it was emotional for her. To Trump, the word love means like cup or paper. It's no emotional meaning at all because he has no moral compass. But I got a feeling that this love child is going to come forward and Trump's going to say, it's not mine, it's not mine. Well, DNA is going to prove it is. So that means this kid could lay claim to some of Trump's estate. And the kid,
that's right. I don't think the kid knows Trump is his father.
He will.
Okay.
And my light bulb just went on. You mark my words. That kid is going to lay claim to the estate, and they'll probably try to pay him off on the side to shut him or his mother up, but it won't work.
So Star wants to know, do you see the recent funding from the USA to end the Ukrainian war isn't that it's enough? Will it disable this war? And I say yes. And I also see more money coming in, but they don't have to depend on the Republicans to get it.
I see more money coming in. I see a lot of Putin's assets here being frozen.
That's what I saw too.
And that money to help Ukraine. I see it buying, being able to buy weapons, all of that. Now, Putin just said by us helping Ukraine, oh, it prolonged the war. Yeah, it did, because it gives Ukraine what it takes to fight you, Putin. And had Ukraine not gotten this money, my guides tell me they would have lost. But my guides also assured me that Ukraine would not lose. So,
okay, good. Yeah.
My guides tell me that right under the wire, they will get necessary funding. And they're also telling me it'll come under the wire again, but they'll get funding. And they're also going to get funding from NATO, the European Union.
Yeah, and they're going to take Putin's assets, and he's going to be furious.
Correct. I have friends, Chicago has a huge Russian Ukrainian population, people from the former Soviet Union and all of that. But my friends who have relatives in Russia are telling me the Russian people, most of them have had it with him, with Putin, and they're starting to protest. And Navalny, you know, I see a group of people starting a whole spearhead, maybe Navalny's wife, that's gonna, you know, it's the flame has already been ignited that's gonna overturn Putin because of this whole Navalny thing and everybody else.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, Tessie says the economics all over the globe changed after COVID. It sure did. Stores and shopping malls all over the world are empty or have shut down. And especially in major cities in the US. Will the stores come back, or is this a permanent change?
Well, I think a lot of it post-COVID, even if COVID hadn't happened, a lot of them were shutting down anyway because people are shopping online.
They're doing it online. If they do online, I feel they'll be okay.
That's exactly what I
Boy,
think.
then Amazon took everybody though.
Oh, they did. I mean, a lot of key stores here, like Carson's, probably y'all probably never heard of, or some of the big stores here went out because they just didn't have an online presence that well. But
Yeah.
Amazon forced a lot of them out. Didn't force them out, but like Amazon had a good business model.
Yeah. So I do see some people like to go, you know, I am so lazy now.
Me too.
I rather shop online. I love getting even just regular stuff. I used to go to Target all the time. If I can get, you know, some soap or something, Amazon, they'll have it to me the next day because I have that.
The only thing I won't shop online is food because I like to touch the produce. And
Yeah, you got to do food.
Even though I don't like going to the grocery store,
I was sort of desperate and I ordered from one of those from Safeway. And I asked for some French bread and he must have picked up the hardest loaf because you could break somebody's head with it.
I asked for a green tomato once, a couple green tomatoes, because they had them at the local store. And he brought me tomatillos. And then I asked for a bunch of broccoli. He bought me one little piece of broccoli. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah, that's so funny.
So therefore, I go shopping.
Okay, so user says, when spirit leaves the body, is there any reason to keeping ashes of the departed ones?
Not really. It's just more of a, it's going to sound terrible, but more of a keepsake. It's more of a,
there's no reason even to bury a body and fill it with chemicals.
Just more of a sentimental thing, you know?
Yeah.
The departed doesn't care where the ashes go.
No, they don't care.
I think that just helps us with our grief and makes us somehow feel a little bit closer to the person who departed.
Yeah.
I had some ashes from Mom when she died. And I've got a lamp. She loved butterflies and birds, and there's a few little ashes in the bottom, but she loved Hawaii. And I took her a couple, 2 or 3 times. But after she died, I took just some ashes. I wrapped them up in aluminum foil. And my friend Jade White Ali and I, Jade's mom, lived in Hawaii. And when Linda White Ali died 2 or 3 weeks before my mom, we went to the beach and we brought leis and we had a little ceremony. We pule, that means to pray. And I threw some of her ashes in the ocean. I threw a lei with her. And I knew my mother would have liked that because she always wanted to go back to Hawaii.
She really loved Hawaii, huh?
Really did love Hawaii. So I think, you know, it was for my mom, but a lot of it was for me too.
Right, right. Dear Linda and Mel, thank you for being more than just a glimmer of hope in these times. My question is, to what extent can we speak of victory in Ukraine in the future? Soon. Probably by next year, huh?
I see the number 1.5. So it could be a month and a half. I don't think that's soon, middle part of January, but I think within the next year to a year and a half, absolutely.
Because I actually see Biden walking with Zelensky in some sort of celebration.
Oh, wow. I just got cold chills when you said that.
But
and I see American contractors getting contracts to help rebuild Ukraine.
okay.
And charging Russia.
Yeah, there you go.
I
What,
s-
reper-
I'm
oh,
sorry, go ahead.
oh, you had more to say though.
I'm just going to say I see a point in time when Putin's gone, the person that replaces him, but after that, I see it becoming a democracy. And I see, you know, peace treaties that they'll sign with Ukraine and all of that so that this wouldn't happen again.
You know, I just got a hit while you were talking.
Oh,
And I
good.
got a hit of buildings in Russia being crumbled by some sort of bombing.
Ooh,
They're gonna suffer some devastation. I just saw that.
when you said that,
Almost like he's getting a taste of his own medicine.
I'm vibrating from top to bottom when you said
You
that.
are?
That's a yes. Huge yes.
I just saw that. What repercussions will there be from the cutoff of subsidized US internet connection funding money? Will the lack of internet access for many poor and or disadvantaged voters affect the election favorably or unfavorably?
Some way or another, I see them having access to the internet.
I see some sort of last minute thing coming through.
So do I. Because that would be a way for the MAGAs to say, okay, for these poor people, they don't get internet. So therefore, that's what they're thinking, that it would influence the outcome of the election, but it won't. I
Okay.
see them finding some sort of help.
Emmy says a militia has just been created in Michigan whose purpose is to preserve the Second Amendment. The Holton Township Board passed a resolution to 1, declaring the township to be a Second Amendment sanctuary community where unconstitutional laws controlling firearms will not be recognized. And 2, Holton Township created an enforcement mechanism for this resolution in the form of voluntary community militia. I'm concerned about this type of thing. Don't worry. And I almost feel them being taken out. I don't know what that's
They
about.
will be. That will last about as long as a snowball in Hades or as a submarine with screen doors. I see the state saying, absolutely not. And if it goes to the ultimately it'll go to the Supreme Court, and they'll say no.
No, I mean, they're talking about something that was written how many hundreds of years ago? 150 or so? And you're talking about guns. You weren't talking about ARs. You weren't
Right.
talking, you were talking about those guns you had to refill and shoot.
Right. Muskets. At some point,
Muskets.
I see ARs banned, unless it's in the military, because, you know, I believe in people's right to carry a weapon. Absolutely. Provided that they're mentally stable, provided that they, you know, that they're not, you know, they don't have any huge past criminal history of violence. And people want to hunt. I don't believe in killing, but people want to hunt, and I get that. And I don't even have a problem with that. But you don't need an AR assault weapon to go rabbit hunting. You just
No,
don't.
no.
Those weapons, those ARs were invented for one purpose, and that purpose is for military and to kill as many people as they can. And you don't need that for rabbit hunting, as I said.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Karen said, a possible reason for MTG not putting in the motion to get rid of Mike Johnson could be that quite a few Republicans have said they'll resign if she does. But not only that, she doesn't have the votes.
There's going to be, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Which means the Dems will take over the House and they can vote to stop Trump being on the ballot. The Senate will probably do. I don't see Trump's name taken off, but he's not going to win.
They can't vote to keep Trump off the ballot. I think the Supreme Court said they could, but I think it has to go through all of the wheels. I do see, though, because of Marjorie Taylor Greene, a couple more people that are Republican leaving the House, and that's going to switch the balance a little bit.
Yeah. What will happen to MAGA versus good Republicans after Trump and the Republicans lose? They're going to regather, and I don't see the Republicans going away. I see them becoming a much greater, probably even better than the Democrats down the road, several years down the road.
I see the Republicans regrouping, and I see them really starting to practice what they preach as far as individual rights and things like that. You know, the MAGAs, it's like what happened to those Nazi supporters during World War II after the Nazis lost? They crawled back in the woodwork. And that's exactly what I see going on with the MAGAs. But my guides assure me that after we get through this dark night of the soul for our country, that it will never happen again, because we were this close to civil war,
Oh, it was so close.
and we still are. I mean, it's
But
not,
because of Trump, we've learned a lot and we're going to change a lot of things.
yes, we did. It's sad that we had to learn it that way, but you know, it does bring an end to voter apathy, that's for sure.
Right. Monique says, when will mail delivery in the US go back to normal?
So
I see DeJoy, somebody wrote an op-ed editorial on why DeJoy's still in there. And apparently they need one more person in there to get rid of him. And I feel like that's going to happen.
I saw him going along.
I know he's going, but Biden can't remove him. He has no right to remove him. It has to be the USPS that does it themselves.
Well, they will get rid of him. And at some point, I see it overhaul, because it's hard for them to compete with all the other services like UPS, FedEx, stuff like that.
I noticed Amazon was using UPS. Now they're using the post office.
Yes. And I see some big accounts the United States Post Office will be able to get and keep. And that'll help it out as well.
Do you see any Boeing airplane crashes in the future?
Ooh, I haven't even thought about that.
I see airplane crashes, but not related to Boeing.
Right, exactly.
Seems
I haven't.
overseas.
I think they might be asking about the 737s, but
yeah, there's a lot of changes to you guys. It's a good thing we have those squealers, because good changes are happening to the airline industry. Good changes.
And I see Boeing coming out with a new aircraft. That's
Right.
gonna be amazing.
1 second. Dakota says, will Jack Smith still go after any of the 20 Republicans who are not running for their seats?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely guaranteed.
And probably 8 or 9 of them are going to be convicted.
Yep. Okay, Bokali says, people got in credit card debt in high numbers during the coronavirus period. As a result, people owe a lot of money. I heard there's a lot of money owed in credit card debt. Do you see President Biden in the House passing a bill to pay people's credit card debt?
No. But
No.
what I do see is my guy just told me my psychic light bulb went on. It's like, oh, if you get this credit card, you'll get it for 0 APR. But then if you have it for X amount of time, and if it goes up to 26, 28%, which is, in my opinion, a juice loan. It's loan sharking. And I see at some point legislation passed to say that these credit card companies cannot be usury, and that the ones that made a boatload of money during COVID because of charging these exorbitant interest rates, I see that legislation passed where they'll have to reduce those interest rates to help people.
Awesome.
I mean, if you have a credit card and people think if you make your minimum payment every month, that keeps your credit score good. No, it does not. The minute that your balance goes over 30% of your credit line, it brings your credit score down. So you can make your minimum payment for years, and they put this much towards interest and this much toward the principal. And I see that stopped as well.
Yeah, well, also, you know, I have a lot of credit, but I hardly have any use of it. But the minute I use something simple and not even that much money, my credit score goes down.
Oh yeah, and I see legislation being passed to refigure the way they do the FICO scores.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a dove on my lawn heading towards the squirrel. You guys, I got a squirrel out there, sits and looks right at me as he's eating the bird food. Like, come on, where's Jack? Jack, I dare him. I double dare him.
Like, Linda, thank you for the steak dinner.
Yeah. So listen, and our event is half sold right now.
Yes, it is. Thanks for bringing that up. I'm so excited. And I talked to somebody, uh, and he's a teacher, he's a musician too. Uh, and they do Latin jazz. And he said that they would come and play at our event. So, and I talked to the owner, Lynn McKinney of the venue. Hi, Lynn. And she said she loved, I had to ask her permission, and she said yes. So uh, I'm excited.
That's good. I can't stay up that late, but hopefully.
Well, it won't be late. I just think they'll, you know, uh, on opening night and closing night, it's going to be fun.
Brian wants to know, why hasn't there been more done to address the big homeless problem?
More what?
Why hasn't more been done to address the homeless problem? It's not really a homeless problem, it's a mental illness problem.
Well, but there are a lot of people who are mentally ill that are homeless, but some are just down on their luck.
No, but there's a lot of mentally ill people that would rather be homeless.
I agree. I agree with that. But
And the governor, what's his name in California, Newsom, he tried to get the hotels during COVID to take care of the homeless on the street. And they were trying to set fires in the rooms and ripping the rooms up. It was really tough because they really are mentally ill.
The problem here in Chicago was there used to be an asylum called Dunning, and it was residential asylum, and it was there for years. And when they closed it, those residents had nowhere to go. They just turned them out, and they went out on the streets, and it created a real issue. What I do see coming in this country is more money appropriated to treat mental illness and to help those who have mental illness. And I do see money appropriated to create some sort of shelters and centers to help the homeless. So that's what I see coming, but it's going to be a while, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. And I was gonna say, will Michigan stay blue? I think so. I heard yes, big yes.
Michigan is going to stay blue, yes.
Oh, by the way, with the Chicago thing, that's in September.
Yeah.
My last client I just talked to says if she might take on a new job and she can't come, but she said if I find out, depending on when they want me to start, I'll come. But because you can't start a new job and then take off.
Tell her to join.
But she said she was asking the dates. Like, I think it's the 27th, 28th, 29th.
Wait, I can tell you. Let me see.
And call Mel Doerr's office and you can get information.
Yep, 847-590-5411. Or email me www.meldoerr, MELDOERR.com.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot that's going to be packed in that 2.5 days, a lot. It's going to be incredible.
Inquirer said fighter jets for Ukraine, when, it's been 2 years. I just saw a picture of 2 fighter jets heading towards Ukraine.
When you said that, my psychic light bulb went off, and I saw Ukraine getting fighter jets.
I see a lot. Listen, they are going to, I see the United States going in there, really making sure all this money is being used. So it's because I don't know if somebody is pocketing a little bit of change there. I do see, because you can't help it with billions coming. Sometimes you say, okay, you get one, I get 2, you get 1. But I see them making sure every last drop is being used correctly. And I see the intel coming in, but shush.
Right. Oh, I think the US is going to be very strict about how it's spent.
Yeah.
And Putin's going to make threats of nuclear bombs and this and that. But Putin knows if he starts a nuclear war, there's not going to be anybody left. So he won't have anybody to boss around.
Right. So somebody's asking if Melania gets pissed off about the Stormy Daniels, etc. She's going to be more upset about that other woman. Well, she turned to state witness. Never.
she'll act like she's upset, but I don't think it's gonna bother her. You know, she's staying, in my psychic opinion, for entertainment purposes only, she's staying married to Trump because here again, she's got her palms greased.
But let me tell you something. It's Ivanka that could really turn on her father if her back's up against the wall, because something down the road's coming up with Jared.
You've been saying
She
that,
might turn. So I've been seeing this for a while.
you've been saying it for a long time.
I see Ivanka breaking his heart because every time I saw a woman, you know, destroying him, women, which if you look at it, that's the truth, but I do see almost like a relative taking him out.
You know, my guides have said the women will bring him down. But
I used to think it was Mary Trump, but it's not. He had no connection to her. He could care less about her.
I think the Stormy Daniel things is the beginning of it, and E. Jean Carroll, and there's others. But you know, also I see some Secret Service agents coming forward, about 3 or 4 of them, about the whole insurrection thing and the other.
And they have to testify the truth. Jack
Yes,
Smith already knows who they are.
and they will testify the truth, even to the point of Donald Trump grabbing the steering wheel because he was trying to force the driver to take him to the Capitol so he could participate in storming the Capitol.
Why didn't he let him go? They should have let him do what he wanted to do. He should have gone in there with that crowd and been part of that. What an ugly look that would have been.
Well, they have enough evidence to convict him.
Yeah.
So even if Judge Eileen Cannon, a loose cannon, I see her removed from the documents case, but the insurrection is a different case.
Yeah, definitely.
He's going to be convicted of that too.
Well, my friend, I went through most of these and I have another appointment at 11.
Okay.
But it was great talking to you.
Same here.
I'll see you next Monday. And what's the phone number people can call? And they have a pamphlet they can email you that tells you exactly who's doing what. I know I'm there to do readings for everyone. Everyone gets a reading.
You're there to do group readings. I'm there to teach mediumship, intuitive development, psychometry. I think Kevin Lewis is going to do mediumship, and Kevin Chandler is going to do healing. Kim Copeland will do some guided meditations, and I think angels. Aiden is going to be filming and editing, so he can.
Arthur is going to be our MC.
Arthur's going to be our MC. Deanne is going to do a little talk on oils, but Kim Copeland will also do a little talk of meditation. So it's going to be, there's going to be a lot. So what we're going to do is break up into groups of like 12 people. So, you know, one group will be with me, while another group's with you, while another group's with
like we did up at Sedona.
Right,
But
exactly.
not as many people. We'll keep it much lower.
We'll have like 50 or 51 people, and it's half sold out. So join us. It's going to be, it's
If
really,
you can, you know, it's cool. If it's meant to be, it'll happen.
well, I'm sure, I hope it does sell. I'm sure it will.
I'm sure it will.
And there you go.
There you go. So thank you, you guys. Thank you for everything. We'll talk to you later. Cheers.
Yes.